The Lucro Difference, redefining profitability through bookkeeping. We here at Lucro believe that as a business owner, you need to be making the best possible decision as consistently as possible. And our job is to provide you with the financial framework that you need in order to make those decisions. So how does it work? Well, here at Lucro, everything is centered around your monthly financial report. And in front of you, here is a sample of what a financial report would look like that you would receive by the 10th of every single month, guaranteed. The report is broken up into different areas, identifying what you need to be doing next in order to improve the performance of your practice. So at the starting point, we have our action steps. Here, in the report sent from your dedicated account manager, we will identify using the 7 key areas that we focus on here at Lucro, being income, marketing, labor, practice and overhead costs, profitability, cash flow, as well as your overall trend, identifying how your practice is performing. And your dedicated account manager will give a rating for each area, whether it is positive, neutral, warning, or caution. And simply this means if it's positive, we are exceeding the expectation that we have for you in this area. So we need to continue to do that in order to run a successful practice. Neutral means we are at expectation. We are achieving pretty much so what we expected to be achieving. Warning means we are below the expectation. We are not achieving the outcome that we desired. Therefore, we need to focus on this area in order to improve performance. Caution is a danger zone. Hey, we need to work really, really hard over the next 30 days in order to improve this area of our business. Otherwise, we're going to run into a detrimental area or a detrimental effect that this may cause on your business. They'll also give you comments on what you need to be doing or thinking about in order to improve that area of your business. That's why we call it action steps. The idea is, once we identify whether this is positive, neutral, warning, or caution, why is it so, and what could I possibly do in order to improve that area of my business? And the aim of the account manager is to give you that commentary so that you are equipped to then go and make decisions, the best possible decisions you can make in order to improve that area of your practice. And so how we do this is we are constantly comparing different data points with one another. The first set of data that we are always using is the actual data that we are collecting from your practice. And so in the second part, we have our monthly metrics. Here we break down exactly what your P&L looks like in your business. What is all the profits that you've generated, all the revenue that you generated, as well as all the expenses, and how profitable are you in that particular month. It is why we are so meticulous around how we do bookkeeping. As we mentioned, we are redefining profitability through bookkeeping. So as your bookkeepers, we come in and we process your books in a very particular manner, using a very, very particular chart of accounts, as well as a process on how we allocate transactions and how we measure the performance of your business. We want a very clear, concise, and accurate picture on how you are truly performing at any point in time. The second piece of data that we use is data, and further down on the report you'll see it, is what we call perfect P&L data. This is data that we are collecting from the industry at large. So every month over the last number of months that Lucro has been around, we have collected data from all the practices and all the businesses that we work with, and we are constantly aggregating that data, identifying what are the 1, 2, 3% of practices, the best performing practices doing out there in the market. And we're aggregating that data as well as the different benchmarks that we've set on how to determine key performance at the different revenue levels of your practice, identifying that if you were to be a top 1 or 2% performing business, what should your practice look like given the level you're at? So in this case, we're at $830,000 year to date. What should the practice look like in order to be that top 1, 2, 3% performing practice? And then we'll give you an actual. Where are you in comparison to that so that you can see where are you falling short? Where are you not in the top performing bracket, and where are areas that you need to focus on in order to perform better? So that's the second set of data, is what we call industry data, perfect P&L data. What is the industry doing and how is the industry performing, and where are you in relation to that? And then the third set of data we use is what we call target data. Here, this is the data that we collectively, on a strategy call, which I'll explain in a second, we create a map for you on what you would like the next 12 months of your business to look like. And so we use that data to then measure how you're performing against what you decided you wanted to achieve in that 12-month period. And so those are the three sets of data: your actual data, your targeted data, and then the perfect P&L data. And we're using those three different data points in order to determine what the status is of that different area and the comments that we want to provide you in order for you to make the best possible decision. So to talk a little bit about how we create these targeted pieces of data, when we onboard you, the onboarding process is a three-step process. We start the onboarding process, we gather all your information, we take access to your QuickBooks account, we overhaul it, we make sure that it's set up the way we want to set it up so that we can produce that actual data in the meaningful way that we want to produce it. We then do a quality control session where we make sure everything is accurate and correct. We dot all the I's and cross all the T's and collect any outstanding information. And then ultimately, we have a 1-hour strategic planning session. And the strategic planning session is with me, the co-founder of Lucro, Adam Rundle. And we sit and we have a really fun 1-hour session breaking down your business. The first part of that is what we do is we do an analysis. So we look at the perfect P&L and we do an analysis of how is your practice performing, what do we like about it, what don't we like about it, and where are areas that we could improve, how could we be better, what are things that we could be thinking about in order for our practice to be functioning in a more meaningful way. Then what we do is we have what we call a capacity calculator exercise. So I call it the playing field. And ultimately what I'm trying to do is identify how much money can your practice truly make. If we had to remove all the barriers, remove all the limiting beliefs or the fact that we can't hire fast enough or our marketing isn't working fast enough, how many adjustment beds could we have in our practice if we're doing protocol treatments, if we are selling certain types of products, or whatever it may be? We have this collaborative conversation where we break down exactly how much money your practice can be earning at the different levels of scale as we grow and scale it to its maximum until it's bursting at the seam and it's generating as much revenue as it possibly can. Ultimately translating that into how much money you can earn as a business owner from your practice. So now what we have is a starting point, so we understand where we are, and we have a potential future endpoint that we really like, something that we can get excited about, a goal, something that we can look to achieve in our practice. And then we sit down and in a very collaborative way, we break down very detailed from income right the way down across the entire P&L, across every single area, a forecast that we can put in place for the next 12 months saying, what exactly do we want to achieve in your practice over the next 12 months. Every single month, what is the top line revenue, marketing cost, labor cost, overhead cost, profitability? How does that translate to cash flow? And what do we want the trend to look like? That then gives us our targeted framework as one of those data points that we use. So at the end of that 1-hour strategic planning session, not only do we know where you are, not only do we know how big your practice could be and how much money you could be making, but you also have a detailed, customized roadmap that you can use in order to grow and scale your practice. Then every single month, we will produce this report that we will send to you by the 10th, guaranteed, that gives you a breakdown of exactly how you're performing in relation to both the target that you've set, as well as the industry, the perfect P&L, giving you insights into what is going well, what's not going well, and what you could be doing in order to improve the performance of your practice. And the rest of the report is really just geared around that. Like I showed you earlier, we have a monthly breakdown compared to our forecast. What are we actually achieving and how are we doing on year-to-date averages, and some metrics around how that performance translates to, in comparison point to our forecast and year-to-date averages. We do some cash flow breakdown. What is our current cash flow? How much money do we have? Has our cash gone up or down over the period? We then look at our annual metrics, and here we're comparing them mainly against the perfect P&L. Where are you in relation to the industry? Are you outperforming the industry, or are you falling behind? We then have some graphs around 12-month, preceding 12-month performance. This is where we look at trends. This is where we start to see, is your practice moving in the right direction? We do an expense breakdown. We have a cash flow breakdown, again, very good from a trend analysis. What has our cash flow been over the last 12 months, and is it in a positive? Are we moving in a positive direction or not a positive direction? And then lastly, a balance sheet breakdown is to identify, is your business growing in value? And we're identifying that from the previous month to the current month. And so every month you receive this report by the 10th with all that information that I've discussed with you around these different data points that you can use in order to improve the performance of your practice. Real, tangible data that enables you to make the right decisions at the right time to improve the performance of your practice. That is what we believe is the Lucro difference.